welcome back to Belonging Songs, your weekly podcast that brings you a brand new original song each week, then talks about the theme of that song and the processes that went into writing and recording it. I am your host, Wade Dana. With me today in the studio, my good friends.
For now.
Patrick Crane.
I never left.
Brad Maurer.
I'm here as well.
Brad's fighting through some issues. We're going to make it. Buddy.
Necco Wafer would be a good baseball name.
Not bad. So I think I told you recently, sometimes I just think about like what a National League team from Detroit would be called, baseball team.
Right. And I've liked some of your ideas.
And my favorite idea I've come up with so far is the Detroit Locals, which would tie in like the auto unions. And all that.
But then
it's a cool name too.
But then you'd have guys from Birmingham saying they were Detroiters because they're locals.
Oh, well.
Well, they are.
Maybe they can bankroll the stadium.
Detroit Locals is good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Capitals and all that. Yeah, it ties it all in. It
does. It's a clever
Do you
pun.
guys want to talk more about baseball?
Yeah.
All right, we should move on.
Yep.
What are we doing?
I wrote a song.
We're also getting so good at podcasting.
No,
We are so good.
I like how every episode now I think is we're fucking good at this.
Just
shit.
nailing it.
We're hitting our stride.
So sit back, relax.
97.2, the stride. Sponsored by New Balance.
Brad, you wrote us a song.
I wrote a song. You were around for the origin of this song.
Yeah, we were having a jam over at our friend Chad's house, and we had kind of finished up.
Yep.
And you were playing something. I was like, ooh, what's that?
You'll notice it when you hear it that it was talking music. Like we were just bullshitting, and I just started like playing shit.
And then I
stopped because I was going to put my guitar away, and Wade was like, what was that? And I was like,
Nothing.
And he's like, well, fuck, play it again.
Yeah.
So I played it again, and then he's like, keep playing it or else you'll forget it. And then I recorded it on my phone. And
Wade does that to me occasionally. I'll be sitting, I like to grab the acoustic down the studio and be like, what's that? I'm like, I don't know.
he's got a good ear
But
for that.
but then I forget.
Right.
What I was
That's why I told him. Like,
Yeah, he's like, well, keep playing
Keep
it.
playing
And then
it.
actually Chad joined in, and Chad doesn't always do that, but he hopped right in, and it kind of like
Turned into a little
organically
jam.
became a song. Like it was start, finish, and everything just kind of came together. So I jotted it down.
well, it did come together really good once, which we weren't recording that time. So then we tried again, and we lost some of it.
As you do. It got worse every time we played it
A little
instead
bit
of
of telephone
better.
game.
And so I brought it home, and I recorded it the next day pretty much. I struggle a little bit with
Oh, was it too easy? So not enough respect was given?
No, just it went together simply, but it's almost like too light rock 99-y.
Yeah, I did get a text from you the next day. You're like, so that thing?
You
It's
mean
a song, put it on the schedule. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, sweet.
Yeah.
You mean it'd be on 97.2?
Yeah,
The stride.
If it's light rock, would it be the...
Yeah, it's just, I think the whole thing, like, I might have just taken it all the way into the elevator, and I don't know if I like that. Like, it's one of those things where we've talked about before, like,
Is this going to be another Eagles hit from you?
would I like this?
Right.
I don't know. I'll tell you right now, it's not done. My vocal performance is not very good on it.
You've been having issues.
I've been
with
having
allergies.
issues with that. So there's some other ideas I have for the end that I'm trying to get.
You should put more background vocals into it.
I have a few.
Probably higher ones.
Yeah, maybe different melody. Re-record them. But I guess listen to it and let me know what the thoughts are.
How's the intro on this before we get into it?
Long.
Okay.
Oh, it does have the melody. I should say the melody guitar, the part you wrote.
Okay.
Wade was playing that part along with
So that came through on your recording?
the main riff. Yeah, and I put that back in, and I put some harmony guitars with it.
So
And
I wrote this song.
yes.
Okay.
If it's bad. If it's good, I wrote it.
All right. I think we should listen to this. It is called Forgiveness.
It's lengthy.
Even
We don't have to call it forgiveness either.
Okay. Yeah.
a kid, I wanted nothing but bad things for you. But it's different now. I'm inspired by what you do. You've made me better in every way. With all the mistakes I've taken from you, I have learned a lesson or two. Now it's all finally sinking in, and there's so much that I can with all the mistakes I've taken from you, I have learned a lesson or two. Now it's all finally sinking in, and there's so much that I can do. With all the mistakes I've taken from you, I have learned a lesson or two. Now it's all finally sinking in, and there's so much that I can do.
Need another sheet of paper.
He wrote a novel.
Welcome to the Stride.
You're listening to The Stride.
Rock 90s Stride.
It's the lightest rock.
We've got a caller, Dave, on the line.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, don't let him on. Brad, I really like this song.
Well, you
It's-
wrote it.
Yeah, well, that's why I like it. I think the lyrics are great. You can tell what it's about. This is about learning from a sibling.
Yeah. Exactly
This
right.
is an autobiographical Brad song.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a great beat and groove. Like, it's a head bobber right off the bat. I love the reprise at the end after everything. I'm just,
That's the part I don't like that I sang well. There's a part of my range I can't hit
no,
right
I
now.
like when the singing's done and then you
when
bring
it comes back,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know I just said a lot of things at once. Patrick, what's your initial reaction to the song?
Yeah, I agree. I like the song. I think it needs some work vocally. It's really straightforward for a Brad song lyrically. Like
Yeah,
that,
there's no ambiguity.
Yeah,
Like-
that surprised me. In fact, I wrote pretty straightforward for Brad lyrics.
Yeah. Which I like you exploring that more. And
But again, and I feel like I've been saying this a lot with your songs lately, and I think it is because of your voice. I just don't think you're hitting the power that your voice is capable of achieving. And so I would like to see your last couple songs when allergy season's done and that. But I'm not going to talk too much about that because it is what it is right now.
The performance isn't there. And I feel like an old ass like Robert Plant. It's just like it's done. I'm like, I guess it's just done. I just can't do it anymore.
At least you're not Neil Young right now.
Like, I got to get somebody else in here to fucking sing it.
And so I wrote in parts a little more emotion here. I really like the lead in the opening of the song.
Wow, that's the Wade's part. Yeah.
I mean, the lead could use some work in the opening of the song.
My wallet's upstairs.
But what I wrote is I really want straight up acoustic piano in this song. And I want it to mimic the lead. I want on piano, and then I just want some nice resonant chords.
That could do it. Cool. That could do a twofer.
Yeah.
Because having the piano in there might take me out of Henley territory.
Not a grand piano, but like a parlor piano, though.
Right. Yeah. Something plucky. Auto.
Like my piano would actually probably sound pretty good with it.
Yeah.
But 2 seconds into the song, I heard piano.
I like that.
And in fact, I took that further. At the outro of the song, when you go back to the intro riff, I'd like to hear that played on piano to play out the song and just piano.
That'd be pretty easy. I like that. I actually like echoing the high-low main riff part with the piano.
So that was the big note I had. And then the other thing is the solo or the musical highlight or the instrumental highlight, whatever we're calling them now.
Yeah. Oh, this was a solo.
This was a solo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first part of it I felt was a little out of place. I liked the second half of the solo. I think it fit with the vibe more of the song.
How it goes up instead.
That's funny because my note says the second part of the solo has some offish notes for me in there.
So can the solo. And I thought the lead in the post solo was maybe a little overwhelming. That needs to be taken back a bit.
I left that there primarily based on the "what am I waiting for" feedback. I felt like it might apply to this song a little bit better.
You can't expect us to be consistent.
I know, but I was like, well, I'm not in love with like the actual playing, but I just wanted to like transpose the idea here.
This song is like 90%
is that concept though like a lead element going behind?
Yeah, that's fine. I just think it's too much.
Yeah, too noodly.
Because the song again,
too ripping.
It's a really simple, almost waltz.
Yeah, and I almost think
Joe Waltz.
Ooh,
it's my new DJ
there it is.
Brad's new artist name.
I almost think the piano idea might do that more service for that bigger like the repeat chorus at the end, like chords and like with the reverb pedal down kind of thing. So I might play around with that a little bit. That sounds fun.
Yeah, I would love to hear the song with piano because I think this is a great song. It needs that one last thing.
I agree. Like I said, it'll take it out of that. Right now, it's sitting in that territory.
Then we can't play it on 97.2.
Right? Yeah, I want to.
The stride.
I want to get it back down to something I might actually listen to. It's not the stride.
Yeah, I like that idea too to play around with.
Yeah. So I will do that.
I had notes on a couple things. Well, one note I had, and I was laughing. I don't know if you saw me laughing during the first chorus. I was like, this could use more background vocals. And I'm laughing because we just recorded an episode where you guys were on me about background vocals.
I kind of saved them for the second half.
I also have that, like, oh, you saved them.
Yeah.
And that's fine because I wanted them. Yeah. Like that first one, I was writing that down right away. Like, oh, this could actually
use that element.
And maybe a piano would fill that in a little more
in the beginning.
Yeah. Maybe that's where your chords come in.
Yeah.
To make that a little bigger. This first line here in the first verse, someone new that you already know. I feel that being a little drawn out a little more. There's room for it to be like someone new that you already know. Something like that. I'll have to listen to it again because I don't remember how it actually went because it was first listen, but I feel that being able to be a little bigger and go into the chorus. And that's something we could listen to together and I could explain my thought a little better on that. And also towards the end, in the last couple choruses, I have some notes about drawing out a couple of those last words. Like, I have learned a lesson or two, like drawing that out. And you might have done it, and maybe it's just low in the mix.
It is.
Or your voice wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, it's also not well executed.
But I think those, when you're able to, would be
really
effective.
I actually have an idea for the last two choruses, they're flat, and it's because there's not enough. Like, there's a lot of backing vocals in them, but they're not doing what I want them to do because I couldn't get there. Like, if I try to go high, it sounds like that lead vocal where it's just like a raspy. It's like, ah! That doesn't sound like my voice. That's not where I was trying to get it. I've done a song like that in the past where I know kind of what I want to do, and I want to layer it a little bit and draw them out and take the U's into the I have and layer it through. I just couldn't do it.
I was just playing around. I hate changing lyrics, but when I was listening to this, I thought it'd be kind of interesting and totally trash this idea if you don't like it. But if you churn the last I have learned a lesson or two into I have earned a lesson or two.
I like that.
When I was listening to the story, because it's so straightforward, I'm like, wouldn't that be interesting if that showed growth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of some of the Georgia Tape songs.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like I got that vibe right away, like the Lemons
for
kind of vibe.
Sure.
And it must be the acoustic type of.
Yeah. So instead of piano, pots and pans.
Yeah.
There we go. There you go.
But yeah, I really like it. I like you writing a song that is about you and very like straightforward. And that's because that's different for you. Just you stepping out of your box a little. And I think it's a really great song that everybody can relate to. Like I have a sister, like we went through stuff like this, but like, and you grow up and it's like you have a completely different relationship. Right. And this song really captures that of how different it is. Like you hate each other when you're little.
I wanted my brother dead.
Right.
Dead.
But, and now you're showing the growth of like you learned learned not only from your mistakes, but you've learned from his mistakes. Yeah. And you guys have grown together throughout your life. And now you have this, whole different relationship that is much, much better.
Yep.
And, you wouldn't trade it for anything. So I think
that's entirely what, I mean, I wasn't like trying to be vague or anything, obviously. I didn't know it was that transparent. Like I wrote down like the title, I wrote down forgiveness. And I was like, I want to write a song around that because that's what came to me when I was playing the.
I can't not do it.
That's why we have to change. Even if we have to change the title, right? To like
but that song's
rivalry
not
or something.
No, it's called the Heart of the Matter.
Yeah, Heart of the Matter.
So it's
not called the Pina Colada song.
Right.
Not part one or part two.
But
it's part two.
That's exactly what it's about.
I would like to see you explore more direct songwriting in general because I think this proves you're really good at it, and you're already really good at conveying the feeling you want with a song, even when the lyrics and everything are kind of vague and you leave it up to interpretation more. But I would really like to see you dive into like, I've got something to say and I want it to make you feel this certain way
get
and
your claws in
see
it.
you go after it. And I think that could open up some whole new songwriting doors for you.
When I was writing it, the first verse, I didn't really have that idea yet. And then as I got to the chorus, I wrote the chorus and I was like, oh, that's where this is coming from. It's about that. And then once I had that chorus down, the second verse just came right away.
Did you change the first verse at all once you got that idea?
No.
Okay.
Like that was originally, I was thinking about trying to draw from something, like exaggerate on something minor, which I do a lot. And I just hadn't been home a lot. And so I was like, I'll write a song about like not being around my wife. Like, I'm sorry that I'm not here a lot. And so it started that way. And then I was like, oh, it's really better suited for this other thing where I don't see you a lot, but I might not have seen you a lot between when we were kids and now, even though we get together on the regular, but we are two different people, but we have gone so far. I'm inspired by both of my brothers in completely different ways, and my sister especially. And it's just, that's what it's about. I never hated my sister, but I wanted my brothers dead. But I couldn't, I literally could not.
They were bigger than you.
Yeah. Well, it was 8 years difference and 6 years difference. And I was just following them around. But like, I learned so much just from being their little brother.
Right.
That I would never be the person I am today without having that family dynamic.
Right.
Like what Red Dog tastes like.
Yep. Milwaukee's best, specifically.
Oh, the beast. Cool. So do you have a good idea from that?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not going to take a while to finish.
I don't think this needs too much stuff. I say play around with the piano, see what ideas come from that.
I'm more concerned with the singing because I know what I want to do and I just can't physically do it, which I don't enjoy
I wouldn't
that.
worry so much about that for now. I mean, we can always revisit that later, but Because you know what you want to do on the vocals, too.
Yeah.
But this song's got a great feel to it, and maybe cut back some of those real Steve Vai guitars.
Yeah. I just want
Go more Satriani.
No, I think
Pull back the wingy.
I think
more Bonamusa.
I think the piano idea is the best thing to come out of this table right now.
John Bonamassa.
John Bonamassa Bacamassa.
John Bacamassa.
Bonamovi.
He's the Bonamassa.
Oh, and Brad, you're forgiven.
Thank you. It actually ended up not really even being about. It's more should be called appreciation because that's more what it's about.
Well, don't give
That's
it
a
too much
stupid
credit.
title.
I have a song called The Appreciation.
That's true. Have we touched on that? No, that's on the
It's on the
opera.
Yeah.
Which I sent you guys a message.
It's a song about the economy.
It's tremendous. So I moved my stereo setup down into the basement and found an old CD of Brad's called The Opera, and it was when we were finishing it up, and it was like one of the master demos that I'd burned off to just listen to and make sure it was good before we got it printed. And I hadn't listened to it. It's been years since I've listened to that, and I forgot how much I really, really like it. And I had forgotten completely about that whole overture track that you did, which was a fun thing. And that was like kind of a mini preview of what we do on this show, because you didn't have that idea.
You're like, you should do this.
We talked about it. We're like, oh, this would be cool to tie this project together. And we will visit that on the podcast at some point. The Oprah. Yeah. By what is this?
Stedman is her long-term boyfriend's name. Oh, that's not what you're after? Gail is her best friend.
What was his play on Joe Walsh that we were calling him?
Joe Waltz?
Oh, Joe Waltz.
Yeah. Okay.
DJ Joe Waltz.
John Bacamassa?
Bonamovi. All right. Well, I think we should probably
that triggers the end of this podcast.
head to the future here.
Fuel for the time machine.
Yeah, let's pour that right in. We're going to pour this episode right into the capacitor, and that should get us where we need to go. So we will see you here in just
Let's get this Bonnet moving.
Oh, God. Set course.
To the future!
All right, welcome back, BSers. We are back. Brad and I are in studio. Patrick via Zoom.
Via the lawnmower man.
Patrick, you look like you've been out on the links. Mm-hmm. You looking good this morning?
Yeah, I don't know where this look came from. I look kind of like early 2000s frat boy right now. Need to bend the bill of my hat in a strong crease and then fray the edges.
Mm. Oh, yeah, like an Abercrombie hat.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all about the flat bill now, but back then it was the super crease.
Yeah, this is my Nashville
creasy.
Predators hat.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful.
Which I had a buddy
Did you
pick
get
up
your
for me.
Kraken
No,
hat
not yet.
No. Yeah, we're doing a morning cast. It's been a while since we've done a coffee cast.
We were due.
You're listening to BS in the morning.
You're listening to 97.2. The Stride. Did you guys like my stride drop in the last episode?
It was perfect.
I couldn't find the one we did. I haven't come across it yet. I should have marked it.
Didn't we do like 12 takes of that too?
Yeah, I just haven't edited whatever episode that is, and I wasn't going to sit there and like sift through 4 hours of audio to find that. I was like,
that would have been fun. You should have made the wife listen to it also so she could comment how on it we are.
So whenever we're going to use that drop, I'll just make sure to do that whole process.
Right, yeah.
So it'll be like 12 times in a row.
Yeah, don't pick the best one.
Yeah.
Same one over and over again.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just the magic of radio. You do it live every time.
Yep. This podcast is totally live.
Absolutely.
Yep. When you listen to the same episode tomorrow, it's going to be live
Live again. Yeah. We just wait for somebody to hop on, and then we go.
Yeah, we have one of those bank tubes, those pneumatic tubes, and when
Right.
they push play, we get a little message.
A
And there's
red light
pen in
goes
there.
on outside the door locks. We're
Yep.
just stuck in here. We get the script comes in that tube, so we have to do it the same every time.
Oh God, if only we had a script. The show would be so much better.
Yeah. All right.
Just
so what
imagine if we had writers.
what are we talking about? We're talking about Brad's song "Forgiveness," which Brad, you're thinking probably is not going to be called.
Never
Forgiveness.
likes the title. So it's probably going to be called something else by the time this comes out, but we will refer to it as Forgiveness.
Well, wait. We were throwing a couple around
were?
last night via text.
Yeah, I liked both those suggestions actually.
Reintroduction. What was the other one? New.
Somebody new that you already know, or someone new is what we kind of landed on.
Someone new is good. I like,
like
that
that.
better than reintroduction. I think.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Forgiveness. That was what
in general.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, as a philosophy.
That's
So-
why Patrick's not allowed in the studio anymore. He
Yeah,
has to
Brad
be
still
in
has a grudge.
Zoom.
Well,
It was one piece of bacon I ate, you dick.
you saved my life, so you're allowed in the studio anytime. Water and baking
Hashtag
soda.
Deadwood Doctor. All right, let's get our coffee sips in. Brad, you have worked on this.
I did. I
since
went
last we
through and I basically took the suggestions that Patrick heard and you heard, and I incorporated them. Took me a little bit of time because I actually acquired a MIDI player, and I had a huge computer update issue.
Yeah, you want to talk us through that issue?
I don't.
talked. MIDI keyboard. You got.
I don't.
right?
Yeah, I got a MIDI keyboard, and so I started playing around with pianos and things like that, and it landed someplace cool. I think it's where it wants to be.
Yeah, so Patrick's main suggestion for the song was to add piano, and Brad sent it to us last night just to make sure he was on the right track, and I do think it added a ton to the song.
Yeah, I listened to this song. I didn't get around to listening to it till this morning, but immediately after the first listen of this new version, I listened to it again.
Man, this is a catchy tune, too, because
Yeah.
you sent this last night. I was down here in the studio working on a song, and I took a break and listened to your song, and it's catchy. It was stuck in my head this morning. It was stuck in my head last night.
There's something about that note progression, the boom boom ba doom, that just
That's Wade.
it's an earworm.
Wade wrote that,
You're welcome.
so it's Wade's song now. So why don't we just
I will release this as
Wade
my
will
song,
take it
yeah.
from here.
All right. Well, let's give this a listen.
I added a couple other things.
Yeah, we don't care about that. Let's go to the part that goes do 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 do.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Brad. What else?
No,
did
I
you
added
do?
a couple other things besides what you guys heard last night. I didn't go through. I actually am an amateur with MIDI shit, so I don't know how to fade them. So what you guys are hearing is probably a little wonky.
Oh, okay.
The listener will hear a good version.
We'll do a little lesson after this podcast. I'll show you how to do
I like
that.
my instruments organic.
Or maybe after we listen, when we get technical, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, right on.
Let's give it a listen. Here we go.
Please understand that I know I have taken way too much time away from you. Say hello. Let me reintroduce someone new that you already know. With all the mistakes given
It's my part. It's my part. It's my part. That's Wade the whole time.
We get to the part where it just says taking care of business.
Patrick, what are your thoughts there?
Wow. Yeah, this is great.
I agree.
Couple things that I may have not noticed from the first mix or they're new. Your vocals with the last All the Mistakes sound a lot grittier, deeper, layered. I don't know what's going on there. I'd have to listen to them back to back, but something in the mix comes out where there's more of a crescendo there and more of a finale to the song. The piano is outstanding. I want more of it. I want it up in the mix quite a bit, actually. And I don't know what you can do in post-production with adding a little bit of sustain to some of those whole notes, the whole note piano chords that are going on behind the verse. But I'd almost like those to ring just a little bit longer. But that's a minor thing. If they're not there, I'm not going to miss it.
That can be done.
The only thing I was actually complaining to Wade about is like, you know what? I wish I would have bought an expression pedal for that keyboard. Because
there's
that's
not enough sustain in the piano to make it sound like an acoustic piano.
Right, you can't control it. So if if it had a pedal and you were playing it like a piano, you could.
Yeah.
But it made it hard to play too because I was trying to let things ring out as long as possible. So
yeah, and that's just technology limitation. I mean, that's a minor thing, but it's just what I wanted. But I love the piano in this song. Did you change up the drums at all?
No, I don't think so.
I got a lot more ride cymbal than the first time I listened to this, in a good way. I like what the ride cymbal does in this song. And
I might have opened it up a couple times.
Yeah, that's what I really like, is where it opens up. It's like you go from a little bit closer to the bell down, you get a little more ring from it. Mm-hmm. This sucker's done. The solo makes a lot of sense now in the context. I think
I got rid of
really noodly stuff.
Wingy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's all it needs. It needs that little fill, and it adds a little bit of energy, but it's not overly complicating a beautifully simple
not a
song.
Distraction. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess
like
that'd be the erudite way to say things. Yeah, I don't know what else I have to say. I loved everything about this. I think it just needs a little bit of leveling in the mix, and it's ready to go on and sell 12 billion copies worldwide.
And then Wade will be in the crowd. That's my part.
No, it'll win a Grammy, and it'll only win the Grammy for the part that goes doo 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 doo. It's gonna be the first Grammy awarded for a part of a song.
I mean, I take care of all our distribution, so this is getting released under my name. So. I have a lot of the same notes. I really love the piano. I want it up in the mix, and that sounds like a mix thing that we can fix. And Patrick, your sustain issues, I think with a little delay and reverb, I can help elevate those parts a little bit.
It's got some delays on there, but they might not be the right delay.
The only notes I had were I would like a bigger swell into the solo part with the vocals, and I think some background. I can hear them, so if you want to give me liberty to even do that.
I can't do them, so do them.
And I think that would really help.
Guitar?
Yeah,
I can do that too. I think that would really help go into that part.
I would like you to put some, because the range you can sing in is the one I can't hit right now. Mm-hmm. So I would like you to do that. You could tell because I stopped some short.
Yeah.
And I wanted those to ring out. I just couldn't do it.
And it would be
physically.
like, what was it? Butterflies?
Yeah.
Very subtle things that
That's what I want. Yeah, just do them.
So I wouldn't
Would it be
like,
helpful if I added an...
Yes.
Yeah, like a Steven Tyler would do.
Came over.
Yeah.
Just did
It's funny you mentioned that because Brad and I were playing on Friday, doing some jamming, and we got into a Steven Tyler discussion, and we looked online to try and find a Steven Tyler Scream montage, and there isn't one. So
They don't have one.
That is an open market.
There was long gaps. If you could YouTube it right now.
The YouTube
Yeah, that's a gap
market
in the
for that.
literature.
It is.
Yeah.
But we need back to back to back, like 4 minutes of it.
Exactly. All of them.
And then just throw in a Wilhelm scream every now and then. What if we replaced every Wilhelm scream in Star Wars with Steven Tyler?
It would work.
Yeah, he would work. Or he's a Sketsky. Or what are they?
That's in the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, the Dark Crystal. He's a Sketsky.
I also would like a few more background vocals at the end, and they might be in there and they're just lower in the mix.
There's a lot in there.
Okay, so that might be something once I start pulling them up in the mix that I'll hear. If not, that might be another area where I I slip in to the
Yeah,
session and
I
do
would
a
like
few.
that.
Do your thing. Because, I mean, like I said, the only thing that I'm self-conscious about the song at all is just the vocal performances.
I think they sound great. Yeah, I might do a
there's
little
also-
tuning on some of that stuff where you're straining a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The,
overall, I like it.
The piano on the, I guess we'll call it the outro section, but towards the end of the song, I also really like how it's changed up a little bit. I think it adds a little bit more interest, and again, completes
I
the song.
was trying to get it in there and make it noticeable without making it too notey.
Yeah, I like that progression though a lot.
Notey.
It's very catchy. It might even be better than boom boom boom.
So I did like there's a little. We lost him.
Got him. I got him.
He's gone.
Get out of here, Wade Dana.
So yeah,
All right, I'm back.
that walk up was as complicated as I wanted to make the piano part. One,
Yeah,
because I'm not a piano player, but two, because I didn't want it to be just about a piano.
It's just a nice little scale thrown in.
Yeah, this is a head bobber all the way through. I say we mix it and get it done.
Right on. Hug your brother.
Set course.
To the future!
All right, welcome back, BSers. Here we are in the Zoom world talking about Brad's song, now called, Brad?
Someone new.
Someone New. We're not going to make fun of him for calling it Forgiveness and then sing Heart of the Matter anymore.
No, because that's what happened every time.
Which was mean of us. I'm sorry.
And the joke gets funnier every time we do it.
Yeah,
You're not shitting.
Yeah.
all of our jokes do.
Yeah.
Does someone want to welcome us back from that break?
Welcome back, BSers.
I already
We're
did.
glad you're here. What have we been doing in the break? What have you guys been up to?
So yeah, we're just going to try and do all of our past jokes right now, right? Okay, so we're talking about Brad's song, Someone New. I have mixed this, and it's funny because right before we jumped in to record this episode, Brad was asking, "Oh, what did we talk about? Do I need to know anything?" Because that's also another running theme of our show is not knowing what we talked about. But now I've got a little notebook. that
I think
write
they
stuff
know. I
down
don't
in.
think they need a recap.
But so Brad was like, "What did I do to this song, or do I need to know?" I was like, "No, we're not talking about that. We've already done that. Now we're just doing the mix," which is funny because you guys didn't want to do this part. You're like, "Yeah, just put that your mix as the end of the episode. It's totally cool." Like, what? I just spent 2 days working on it, and you guys don't want to even revisit it. You're just like, "No, I'm done."
Like, I'll give you a sticker. Is that what you want?
I'm already like way over this song. So
So, all right. But we
give me a
are
sticker.
going to listen to the mix, and I've got a bunch of notes of things that I did that I would like to talk about. So,
Let's do it.
Brad, you've heard the first iteration of this mix, and
I did.
you had just some minor notes on it, and I
Minor.
tweaked it a little bit. So,
Yeah.
now we're going to listen to the revised mix right now. So, Patrick, you have not heard this.
I have not.
And I'm excited for you to do so. So let's give it a listen. It's my mix.
I'm gonna
of
do it
Someone New.
now.
Cool.
Please understand that I know I have taken way too much time away from you. Say hello. Let me reintroduce someone hated you. When I was a kid, I wanted nothing but bad things for you. But it's different now. I'm inspired by what you do. You've made me better in every way. With all the mistakes I've taken from you, I have learned a lesson too. Now it's all finally sinking in, and there's so much that I can
All right, Patrick.
I've
You have
got a
some
lot
thoughts.
to say.
Great.
This is the classic example, and I know I've talked about this before, so you'll remind me that I talked about this before. But this is producer.
Hold on, Brad. Can you please stop doing that, because I can't separate the microphone inputs. It's like a Mr. Ed over here. Sorry, Patrick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were we getting serious? Go ahead, Patrick. I'm sorry.
Anyway, this is the classic example of producer as the other band member. So this is a night and day mix where I picked up so many nuances that I wanted in this song, that I heard in this song. You crushed it, Wade. I mean, the song's terrible, but the production is amazing. I know I really wanted the sustain to come up in the piano, and whatever you did in post-production really, really brought that through. Especially the bass chords ring through how I want them to. So the attack is really good. It's like another piece of percussion, which is what I really like in acoustic piano anyway. You did a couple things that I didn't notice that, Brad, maybe did you work on the drums at all since I've heard this last, or is this purely mix?
I didn't do much
He
to
didn't,
it.
but I did a cut and paste on some drums where they kind of died out during the solo because of a cymbal, a crash cymbal that switched from one that was louder to a really soft one, and it almost made the song just like fall apart. So I cut and pasted the heavier cymbal through a lot of that.
That was my fault. I think what I did is there's like when you're moving midis around, like I moved everything over, but I didn't adjust the volume on the rest of the sets. So like it did drop out. And I think I noticed it and I never fixed it. So thank you for fixing it, Wade.
So I noticed that. I also noticed a tom fill that I never noticed before.
I went through after I had mixed it, and there's not a lot of tom fills in snare fills, but wherever there were, I went through and raised the volume on them.
Okay.
So that they would cut through, because usually there's nothing else happening in the song. Those should be highlighted. So I did grab those and bring them up.
They're perfect.
Cool.
They're absolutely perfect. There's a sour note on the piano at like the 3-minute mark, and I love it.
Okay.
I absolutely love it.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Because I did go in and have to cut and paste a few notes that were sour. Maybe I missed one, but...
You might have, but it's great. It's exactly what I want right there. Because
I'll be the first person to tell you I'm not a piano player.
You do better than I do. But
I'm not a piano player. A lot of sour notes.
Do you remember how many takes it took me to play 5 notes, right?
Yeah, but that's all good.
Strings are a lot more pronounced now. The panning on the strings and on the piano. I am not joking when I say there's a couple spots in the song where I teared up, not because the song is sad, but because I just love how it came together. It was powerful. It's sonically moving. It's so well written, and this is a great partnership between you two. This is probably, Wade, of all the songs we've done on this podcast, this is the most pronounced production excellence that I've heard.
Cool.
And this is the last nice thing I'm going to say about
you. All right, Brad.
That's a good thing, because I threw a lot of shit in here, and actually on the second listen, I had some more like backing, but what was one of them, Wade? Was it like a saxophone or a clarinet or some shit?
So I cut out your 2 synth tracks that you had and a sax track. I cut them completely out because those were getting in the way of the piano. They were there before you added the piano. And once you added the piano, that needed to be the focus. And it was just stepping on those things. So I cut those out to give more room overall in the arrangement.
And I love that. And I like giving you things like it's fun to do that, like to give you like too much almost. It's probably a pain in your ass.
Thanks.
But I think it's fun to like go, here's everything that I have sonically that I've given this song. And it doesn't always mean I want it all in, but it's like just so you notice it, then you can pick the best things.
And it's also rare that when we're talking about what a song needs back before this song has piano and I hear something in my head or you hear something in your head and then the artist actually executes it how you hear it in your head. But this is pretty fucking close to exactly what I had envisioned. I can't play it and I can't write it. So thanks for being good at what you do.
Well, that's a 3-man production then. That's the whole point of the podcast, because I wouldn't have probably put in piano if somebody didn't say, hey, this song could use a little piano.
And it is absolutely what it needed. Like, it took that song to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It changed the title of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just...
Piano came in and the title changed.
Yep.
I'm super impressed with the evolution of the song. I print it.
Yeah, let's get technical on this mix. Like I said before, I cut the synths, I cut the sax, I cut your piano up and arranged it, because you had 3 piano tracks. Brad had like that low piano, he had a high piano going, and then there was like a middle one, they were kind of playing throughout the whole thing. But if you think about like a piano, I cut it up so only two of them are playing at any time. So it's more like one instrument throughout the whole thing, because they were kind of stepping on each other before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I cut them up and tried to build it too. So you'll notice like your middle piano comes in a little earlier than that high dun, 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 the piano riff during the choruses, just to kind of give that a build throughout the song. And I also panned them so like the low pianos would be on the left, the high pianos would be on the right, and the middles were kind of in the middle. So it sounded more like an actual piano being there instead of 3 tracks being panned wide, all 3 of them, you know. So
I love that part too.
Yeah.
Because it starts with it, like the song starts with the low.
Yeah, and you'll hear that in your left ear, and then the high piano you hear in the other ear.
You get it in the right. And that was always my intent. Again, I'm not a piano player. Like a good piano player probably would have played it all and had it all at the same time. But I thought, I was like, well, maybe I'll do 3, a low, middle, and a high, and then that'll let you do just that, because it'll let you pick which one you want to put with the low end, and then you could separate things. If I did them all together, you wouldn't have had that option. So that's cool that worked out.
And while
remember, aspiring young musicians and pilots out there, take the shortcuts.
That's it.
While we're talking those piano MIDI tracks, you had mentioned earlier in this episode, you weren't sure how do I fade them and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we wanted
you told
to
me what to do with those.
Yeah, but we haven't talked to the listeners about that yet. So basically you have to, I had to take your MIDI tracks and print them to audio, which means record the information down to an actual audio wave file.
Are you telling me you didn't try dragging them to an audio file?
Damn it, no. Because you were supposed to tell me if that worked, and then I'm the one who ended up doing it.
I was supposed to tell you that it works.
Oh, it does? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
well.
So you can just drag them down, and it runs through. It takes like 8 seconds.
Don't worry, I wrote that down.
Did you have to set up a bus internally in Pro Tools, or did you just set up a new track?
A new audio track and drag it down.
Okay, cool. Well, BSers, if you're a Pro Tools user, drag and drop MIDI to an audio track, and it just does it for you.
Oh, it did it for me. I was like, oh my God, that's fucking awesome.
Cool.
Because it is. Yeah.
All right. So back to the mix. Brad, you had mentioned in the first mix I sent you that the solo was a little quiet. I raised it like a little bit. Do you still think it needs to come up at all?
No, I think it blends in good.
Okay.
It was like a stall before. Like the whole song kind of went too low, and that was the accent in that part. And so it raised it up enough to where it's going through kind of not quite consistent with the vocal level, but consistent with like the loudest musical instruments.
Okay.
You weren't listening to a goddamn thing I said. It's perfect.
Yeah, Patrick already cleared this up.
So one of my notes.
He's pissed. He's pissed when I critique something, and then he's pissed when I like it.
No, he doesn't listen when you like it. That's all.
One of my notes on your revisions was I wanted something to go from the vocal part into the chorus or into the solo. And I wanted some sort of swell. And I was originally going to do background vocals, but what I did was put a delay on the last word of your vocal. So it's like, so what I can do. You could hear that. But there's also a distortion swell on the solo itself before the solo starts. It was like you waiting to play, and your guitar was kind of feeding back. So I actually, I pulled the wave back, found that, and raised that up in volume and added a delay effect to that.
Oh,
to just give,
that's clever.
That wash.
Yeah, so it gives that whole transition a build there. And then
I noticed that, and I wasn't sure if it was like the reverb carryover from a piano part that you did that with, or if it was like a guitar part. So it was like the beginning of the guitar part.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is super cool.
And I actually left that delay effect on throughout the whole solo, just added a little more texture to it.
Yeah, because it's like bold. It's bold in the headphones, but I say that in a good way. It's not too bold. It just kind of like lets you realize that something else is shit's going down.
And one thing I really liked that I did at the end of the solo, so you had 2 solo guitar tracks, and you kind of had them panned, I think at like 40 left, 40 right.
I tend to do that.
I put them in the middle for the main track, but at the end of the solo, I started to pan them out all the way wide because there is a distorted slide guitar that comes in that I have panned wide. So as the solo ends, it starts to branch out, and then I did a crossfade to just do a seamless blend into that slide guitar part. So as the vocals come back in, the solo, which was in the middle of the sound field, branches off, the vocals take over the middle, and that solo just blends right into that slide guitar track that you have that's panned wide left and wide right.
That's pretty cool.
And it made for a really cool transition that I thought was really worked well.
It's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Try doing it live.
I'm trying to figure that out a little bit more. Like I'm actually, this song I'm working on now, I've taken like a certain section. I'm trying to keep things together and then complement them in the other ear with something else.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of how I'm doing that instead of taking the same thing and splitting it differently.
Right.
Before, in my head, that was always just like getting it to a chorus sort of state, because things are going to sound a little bit different. So,
well,
it
a
does
technical
work.
note for you, because I've noticed, because I get a lot of your mixes, is what you'll do is just copy the track and then use the same track and pan it left and right. That doesn't give you a stereo image. That just raises the volume of it. Unless you add a delay to one of them. The better way to do that would be to record that track again, and that gives you that chorusy effect.
I'm gonna defend myself real quick because I don't know that I do. I think what I do is when I'm creating that track, I do copy it.
Oh, and then you delete the audio.
And re-record. And I probably don't change the name because I'm a piece of shit. So I think that's what I do. So I don't know that it's always the same audio. If it looks like the audio, then it is.
Well, sometimes it is because it's named. The clip is named the exact same file name.
Yeah, sometimes it could be, but usually I delete it and play over it. Mm-hmm. And then if I do that, sometimes it's just because like I want to put like a global delay on it. Yeah. But I don't want it to be so forward. Right. So I'll double it, and then I'll bring the delay way down.
Yeah, if you put a delay on an exact copy, you do get a separation, and it does give you that chorusy effect. Yeah. Did you notice at the end of the song as it's going out that I did a copy and paste on that lead guitar element? So the dun-dun-dun-dun. In the beginning, the first time it does that, you have a trail off that goes. Yeah.
I did not notice that.
I copied that from the beginning and put it at the end just to kind of tie the whole thing together.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
And then the only other technical note that I did was I tuned all your vocals.
Oh, dude, let's talk about that real quick.
Because they were in rough shape.
I couldn't stand them, but I couldn't get them where I wanted them. There's nothing more frustrating than like hearing something in your head and knowing that you can do something and not being able to do it. It's different when you know that you just like you can hear it, but you can't do it.
Right.
But I absolutely could not pull it off with what I had going on. I don't know if it was allergies or what, but it's coming back to me now. But you save those vocals. Like one thing I could not stand on that song was the way I sang the end, like the last, like kind of the bigger part. And it was because like the vocals were really harsh. Like it was real like, that's all I could hear was like just this, like somebody's dying and it wasn't good. And somehow, and you'll have to explain to me how you did that. Cause I know you tuned them up, but I don't know how you got rid of like the actual harshness of the vocal.
It's probably a masking thing with the background vocals, which have a good amount of distortion on them, so it kind of gives you an overall blend.
Joke's on you, Brad. Your vocals were me the whole time.
Because you can't really get rid of that, but I just kind of saturated things.
Whatever you did, it was cool because like the vocal part stayed forward. It didn't go away and turn into something else, but it lost that raspy guy losing his voice sound.
And that's something that you and I had talked about when I first sent you this song. I knew you were going to think the vocals were too loud on this, but I think it's such an intimate song that they needed to be.
Yeah, and I like being able to hear like in the beginning, the way I had it mixed when I gave it to you, I couldn't hear like the D of the please understand.
Yeah.
And I really like being able to get all of those like little like it makes it a lot more intimate.
Yeah, and it feels a lot more intense, I guess is the right word, where it needs to.
Yeah, I agree. I know you had a lot of work to do to the vocals because I gave them to you the best I could.
Yeah.
And crossed my fingers, and I think you did some fucking pop chart shit with it.
Thank you. And I know you guys, didn't even want to talk about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But
I'm still
glad
don't.
we did.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean.
I think
Patrick,
this song is wrapped up.
It's just a mix.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like you wrote the thing.
Right,
This podcast is just about writing the songs and getting them to the demo form.
I'm like, this song is so fucking like 4 weeks ago.
I'm already so fucking pissed. I told Wade how I felt. Like I have so many regrets.
Oh,
it's just like with that goddamn ingredient song.
Which one? The one?
Yeah.
Yours.
Oh, mine. Because not the one that you've done.
Yeah.
I hate when I have to be nice to you fuckers.
Because you haven't.
Patrick's ingredient song is going to take place with audio rolling of him making breakfast.
Can I change my ingredient? Can I get that instead of ball?
Here's my ingredients: flour.
All right. Well, Brad, this episode is coming out like next week, so the listeners don't even realize that you've put out your ingredient song yet, or that we've done an episode on it.
Let's start from the beginning.
So they were just listening to all
know.
that talk and being like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? These guys haven't even done their ingredient song. Listeners, Brad's coming soon.
Cut that out and insert you yelling at me for not doing my ingredient song.
Is that Dave Coulier in there?
Yep, that was a Dave Coulier. Cut it out.
Cut it out.
All right. And on that, we should probably cut out of this episode.
Shout out to Dave Coulier.
Yes, hashtag Uncle.
He lives in Michigan now.
Is he Uncle? Wait, is he Uncle Dave on Full House?
No, Joey.
Oh, Uncle Joey. Okay.
Joey. Uncle Joey.
What? No, not. Oh, Jesus. Here he comes. No, go back upstairs. No, go back upstairs.
I didn't even know he was back in town. Weren't him and Chuckers going to Peoria?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a Nightcrawler convention.
He's into an X-Files marathon upstairs now. Him and Chuckers. They got build themselves a little blanket for it in the living room. It's ridiculous.
Are they watching all on VHS? I saw like the first 3 seasons on VHS up there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they took
worse than like when you're in the basement and you hear the recliner shut.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. Uncle Dave's getting after
He's
it.
mobile.
They took the time machine back to an open Blockbuster.
You know, it's really just going to the kitchen to get another package of goldfish. So we can eat it.
All right. Yeah, let's get out of here. Listeners, if you like what you've enjoyed here today, please leave us a 5-star review if you listen on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. If you listen in Overcast, please hit the little star button so Overcast knows to recommend us to other people. Check us out on Instagram. We'll put pictures of what's there to put a picture of from this song. Anything? No, never mind.
Probably Don Henley.
Oh no, Joe Waltz.
Joey Waltz.
Yep. Check out our website, belongingsongs.com. There you can listen to the before and after versions of all our songs. You can also get a hold of us there on the forums page. Just fill that out. Hit send. We'll get back to you. Or send us an email directly to bs@belongingsongs.com. This episode is produced by Satellite Chicken Sound Lab. If you or anyone you know needs help producing a podcast, go to satellitechicken.com. Thank you so much for listening. For me, for Brad, for Patrick, we'll see you here again next week.
There's a ghost upstairs and it's spooky.
Yeah, it's good. Boom, done. Next.